guys. I'm going to explain how to wash cloth diapers. This is our camp style washer, which also doubles as our wet pail. This is where we put the dirty diapers before we wash them. It's just a 5-gallon bucket with a hole cut in the lid and a sink plunger in through the hole. Works as an agitator. So these are my dirty diapers just sitting in water. They've been rinsed before I put them in there. So let's get started. We dump them out into the sink. And I clean my sink out with bleach before and after every load of diapers I wash. You can also do them in the bathtub if you like. We prefer to use our sink so that we can keep this out of reach of our little one. So after the water drains out of here, what we're going to do is we squeeze any excess water out of the diapers. And you want to try to not wring them. I usually just kind of give them a good squeeze. I mean, they don't have to be perfectly dry because we're going to go through a few rinse and wash cycles. Okay, then we're going to fill our 5-gallon bucket with cold water. This will be for our first rinse cycle. Now, while this is filling, I can go over some basics and the basic steps that I go through when I wash the cloth diapers. First, we rinse them in the sink and then just let them kind of soak in cold water. Then you wring them out, fill some fresh cold water, and then rinse them, and we're going to use our agitator. Get them all nice and mixed up and thoroughly rinsed. Then we'll dump them out again, wring them out again. Then we'll do our wash cycle, which is hot water with a little bit of detergent. We just use regular free and clear, no additives detergent. You can use Dressed if you like. Really any kind of detergent. The main thing is that when you rinse them after using the detergent is that you want to get all of the detergent out. But we'll get to that when we get to the washing step. Since I don't have too many diapers here, that's good, about halfway full, or about 2 gallons. And just put the diapers back in, put the lid on, and give it a few good pumps. It's just like churning butter. So, next I'll show you what happens after we rinse them when we get ready for the wash cycle. So, we've already dumped out our rinse water, and we are filling our bucket with very hot water. And I will add our detergent, which we keep in this container just because it's a little more convenient. I do about 3/4 of a tablespoon to about 3 gallons of water or so. It doesn't have to be exact. So that is in. Alright. That's good. And then going to rinse our diapers. And this rinse I usually do in somewhat warm water, just so it doesn't cool down the wash water. But same concept as before when we were wringing them out. You want to make sure to get them wet and kind of squeeze them out, and then just pop them in. We're going to do that with all of our diapers here.
these are just bibs that we added into our wash because why not, while we're at it. You can add smaller items like this in sometimes. I wash my handkerchiefs as well, or hand towels, pretty much anything small, especially if you don't have a large load. So now that we've got our diapers in the wash water, you can see that it's all nice and sudsy. We're going to put our lid back on and agitate it again. Usually we do about 50 pumps every time we agitate it, so when we rinse it in the bucket, we do 50 pumps. When you wash it in the bucket, you do 50 pumps. When we do our last rinses, we do about 50 pumps. So definitely a good upper arm workout. And with the wash cycle, we'll let it sit for a little bit, but when you're washing it, you don't want to let it sit too long because the detergent can start building up in the fabrics. It can affect the waterproof laminate in the diapers. So the wash cycle is one that you really want to make sure to kind of get it done. You can let it sit for a little bit, but then you want to get them rinsed out. The rinse cycles, however, you can do them throughout the day and kind of spread the work out. As you can see, definitely gives you an arm workout. Okay, so that should be about good. So we're going to let that sit for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll agitate it a little bit more, and then dump it out, and wring it out, and then do our rinse. Okay, so let this sit for about 5 or 10 minutes. We'll give it a couple more pumps, kind of mix it up. Alright, now after the wash cycle, take a second to make sure that we clean off our lid and our plunger, and once we empty the bucket, we'll also rinse out the bucket. The reason we're doing this is obviously because we want to get rid of any remaining detergent. So we'll dump our bucket out. Now when I do this, I try and squeeze as much of the soapy water out of the diapers before I put them in the sink. You don't have to. That's the way I do it. So now we want to take a little more time when we rinse these. We want to make sure to be very thorough with the rinse to try and get as much possible detergent out before we put them back into the bucket. Now, you can give them a quick rinse and then throw them back in the bucket and rinse them. Then you're going to have to do multiple rinses in the bucket. And this way, we're trying to get as much out as we can, and hopefully we only have to do one rinse in the bucket. So our wash cycle is done. Refilled our bucket with cold water, and rinsed these out in the sink and squeezed them out to try and eliminate any excess suds. So now we'll agitate this. Like I said before, about 50 pumps every time we agitate. important to note that anytime you use hot water on the diapers, it will set stains in. So if you have a particularly dirty diaper, it's important to use cold water when you're stain treating it. One of the best things to use for stain treating or spot cleaning diapers is Blue Dawn dish soap. And you can just use a small drop of that on the diaper with cold water and use the diaper to rub against itself. Demonstrate with a towel. You would use the diaper on itself to work the stain out. It works very well, and then obviously you want to thoroughly rinse that, and then you would continue with the washing process as normal. Now, when you're rinsing after a wash, the goal is to rinse out any residue from the laundry detergent, get rid of any oils in the diapers. That's especially common with new diapers or with cotton diapers. So let's take a look at our water, see how good of a job we did. Some air bubbles are natural, just from aeration. But you can usually see some suds and oils still floating on the top there. I don't know if you can really tell. But what we're going for is some clean water. So this will need another rinse, which I will do now. Probably won't videotape that one because it's the same thing as I just did. But you want to make sure that the water looks as clear as possible before you hang them up to dry. We've done our second rinse. As you can see, the water is quite clear. You don't see any soap suds or oily residue floating in the bucket. So at this point, we dump this out, wring out the diapers, and then hang them up to dry on our lovely drying rack that we have. You'll also notice we have it positioned underneath our ceiling fan, which helps in drying time. Normally we would do this at the end of the night, that way we can have them drying overnight, and by the time we wake up in the morning we have dry diapers and we're ready for another day of diapering.